Welcome to another exciting episode of Unraveling Intellectual Property with Michael Stein. Today, I am honored, not just pleased, but honored to have Aki Ryuka of Ryuka Law Firm in Osaka, Japan, with me. And I've known you, I don't know, close to 15 years, I don't know, ballparkish. Um, but Aki, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell me a little bit about yourself, or tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your firm and your great firm.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael. Thank you for the introduction and invitation to your important podcast. Well, this is Aki Ryuka at Ryuka and Partners. I founded the firm in 1998, so it has been 27 years. Prior to founding the firm, I worked for Canon Corporation for 5 years as an engineer, Japanese firm for 3 years, and a U.S. law firm in Washington, D.C. for another 3 years. And I was qualified as a patent agent at that time and later certified as an attorney at law in California. The
I didn't
firm
even I,
now
I didn't
has,
even realize you were an attorney at law, a U.S. attorney.
yeah, I studied hard at the time, but I also enjoyed it. So the firm now has 100 people, including 40 professionals covering most of the technological fields with some focus on IT. So that's about our firm and myself.
Well, I know you have a sterling reputation in Japan, and I know you represent a ton of some of the largest Japanese companies out there. Today, I think we're going to discuss a very important subject, consumables, and you've got something to say about that in the patent field. How do we protect consumables? And then you have some examples. So why don't you get started?
Certainly. Well, espresso machines, for example, are quite popular in Japan as well. And the corporations obtained many patents on those machines. However, unfortunately, there are many compatible capsules. As you would know, the capsules bring long-lasting profits to the company. So we would like to protect those consumable parts more, but the problem is oftentimes consumable parts are quite simple and hard to protect them by patent. So what shall we do? That's the issue here. Well, we can see the patent strategies by looking into the printer cartridges, because in fact the toners and inks are too simple to be protected by patents, but those are well protected by Canon Corporation, Ricoh Corporation, so on. So how do they do that? Let's see it. So first of all, the recently the printer is quite cheap. One of the reason is that the printer itself is a kind of bending machine for their toners or their uh, ink cartridges. So they can sell the printers less expensively, seeking for the sales of the toners and inks cartridges.
Just so everyone in the audience knows, that's 80,000 yen, not dollars.
All right, right. Thank you for the help. So uh, basically, the toner itself cannot be patented easily, but if it is the toner cartridge with various features, those can be patented. So by providing patentable features, the consumable parts can be patented. Those added features can be categorized to the following five. featuring electrical connections of the consumable spare parts, or featuring mechanical connections providing digital communication interface between the consumable products and the main body, and installing a memory in the spare parts, installing sensors in the spare parts, so on. So those five are the typical most important features. Let's see some examples. Uh, so in this, when the cartridge is properly installed, the electrical connection is made. And just quickly, when the spare parts here, the toner cartridge has the proper mechanical design on its outer shape, then it can be properly installed. This is the mechanical feature, and let's see some other examples. Here, digital communication interface is provided between the battery and the main body. And here, a memory is installed in the spare part. And then we can store various things as well as simple program on the memory so that the spare parts can be patented. Here, a sensor is installed in the spare part. When installing a sensor, we can think of various patents, such as how to sense, what to sense, where to sense, how many areas to sense, differences of plural sensors. All of those features can be patented, then the spare parts can be protected by patents. Then, as far as the main body requires those features installed on the spare parts, then the spare parts must have those patented features to work. And then compatible ones can be efficiently excluded. So that was the one I wanted to share first. But do you have any questions?
So, I mean, basically, let's say uh, a compatible one doesn't have that memory or whatever. Then what you're saying is the printer itself recognizes that it doesn't have the memory, and then it won't work. Is that what you're saying?
That is right. That is
Okay.
right. Well, if it was done solely for the purpose of excluding others, there might be an unfair competition issue. So the internal engineering have to be very careful not to say that. Their improvements should be for the benefit of the consumers. But anyway, we can add such features on the consumable parts.
Okay. So, I mean, one of my next questions was going to be about whether there's any laws relating to locking out competitors, and you're saying that is a factor to.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm. Certainly. So because the spare parts in the printer fields, the spare parts are well protected. There are some competitors who try to reuse their genuine cartridges rather than making their cartridges. So, as you may see, there are refilling sets of the inks. Do you know?
Uh-huh.
Have
Yeah.
you seen that? Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's helpful for their consumers, but not for the corporations. So there was a high court decision in Japan about that reuse of the used cartridges because once the genuine product is sold, basically the patent is already used, so exhausted. So the consumers and the people who purchased and used the cartridges should be free from the patents. That's the theory of the exhaustion. So the Let me share the screen. Just a moment. So, do you see it?
Not yet, but last time it took a moment. Now I see it.
Okay. So, just a moment. So, recycle assist ink in Japan collected used ink cartridges of Canon Corporation, refilled the ink and sold them, and asserted that patent exhaustion. Uh, then the court finally said that the product lost the essential elements when it was used. Then recycle uh, remade the essential elements by filling ink. Namely, recycle made new products. That was the finding, and found that the recycle assist infringed the Canon patents. That was beautiful. So basically, the refilling can be categorized into two, whether remaking or fixing. So if it is considered as remaking, that's the production, which is called as infringing the patents, newly infringing the patents.
Okay.
So, okay.
I take it it's kind of case specific, whether you're fixing or remaking.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes. So the point is that the essential element is broken when it is used up. So it has to be remade. So that's the advice for avoiding from the reuse. But basically, it's not such difficult to add features on consumable products. Coming back to the uh, espresso machine issue, if we could print a program on their cartridge surface, such as controlling the temperature of the water and controlling the amount of the water or the speed of the water, then we can patent the cartridges.
And I think it might be a little bit different because with printer ink, at least in the United States, everyone expects ink to be unbelievably expensive. But
Mhm,
those capsules in the coffee, I think it may
mhm,
be a little more price sensitive. So putting a chip on
mhm,
every one might drive up the price compared to the
mhm,
product itself.
mhm. Certainly,
Percentage wise,
certainly. Right. So it has to be a less expensive method. However, it does not cost so much to print the programs on the surface of the cartridge. And then, as far as their cartridges have the program on it, even though only by printing, still it can be protected as having their important feature. And if the machine requires such uh, program on the cartridge, then the compatible ones are excluded.
uh,
Yeah.
let's take a break here. In
Okay.
part
Yeah.
one, and we can.
Okay. Yeah. Before doing that, just let me add.
Sure.
Yeah. So in this example, as far as the program is broken when the cartridge is installed, then it cannot be reused. To reuse it, the competitor would need to reprint the same program. That is considered as remaking,
Hmm.
and the patent exhaustion does not apply in Japan.
So it seems
Okay.
relatively simple to get around this whole patent exhaustion.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, if it is carefully designed,
Of
it's
course.
possible. Right.
All right, well, let's wrap it up on these consumables. Thank you, Ryuka,
Thank you.
Aki,
Thank you, Michael.
and let's end part one. I know you've got some more to talk about, and so to
Hmm.
the audience, thank you for tuning in. Please tune in for part two of our discussion with Aki, and I'm sure he's got a lot more interesting things to say. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.